get some of this junk out of my way. Happy New Year to you, man. Mark there at Piss and Twisted. I am, I know it's late for you. Happy to see you, though. Let's see. There's one thing I don't like about StreamYard as a, yeah. I wish they had a nice little deal telling me that the audio is good. So, dude, I can't wait to see what you do with that, with all the European bikes over there, and hopefully get your hands on a lot of fun projects. So, if y'all can hear me on the live stream, audio is good. I appreciate that, Mark. You're a pro at this, so you know what that feedback's like. So, oh, let's see. What time is it? Hey, BNR Racing. Good to see you again. Let's see. What time is it? Yeah, it's close enough, I guess. I didn't really have too many plans, but honestly, as I was cleaning up the garage and kind of get ready for the new year and stop acting like a slob for a while, I kicked this bucket that's got the carburetor in. And I was like, damn, how long has that been? And looking at the date, it's over 30 days or over 90 days. Sorry. So I thought, what the heck, I could do a long video on it, whatever, but there's no reason to. I just do it live and be surprised right along with you. So I guess let me get that out of the way so YouTube doesn't get mad at me. Let's see here. I think I've got everything I need. Yeah, it's close enough. So, all right, cool. So, just so some of y'all that haven't seen that video, we tested some cleaning solutions on, I think, 4 different 80457 Holley carburetors. These zinc coated carburetors. This one's pretty trashed. Actually, it's gonna get hucked in the. Yeah, I'll probably just huck this one. It's got some epoxy in it. I don't know what happened with it, but it might be good. I just don't know if I want to mess with it. But anyway, we took 4 of those carburetors, put it in the solution, let it set for a week just to see what the outcome would be and how the solution reacted if you left it in there a little too long. And a week is definitely too long for super clean. What else do we use? We use pine oil, like floor cleaning. Pine oil. I forget the other solutions that we used. But anyway, they were all suggestions that you guys had of stuff that you guys used, and Super Clean was easily the number one. I don't particularly like Super Clean for that type of stuff. It's a really good, strong, caustic, gnarly degreaser, but it just doesn't work on something that's a little more delicate. So anyway, I guess let's just go ahead and dig that thing out of the bucket. I've already moved it over here. The lid's been kind of pried off of it, so we can kind of see what's happened to it. But it's been shaken up a little bit, so it's not completely. Yeah, Super Clean is definitely aggressive on aluminum, which is, I mean, if you're going to use it, if you dilute it really well, that's fine. But it's got to go on and come off pretty quickly. This carburetor that's in the bucket right here below me has been in pure Super Clean, no dilution, no nothing. It's just been dumped into the bucket. The 10th, 9:10 at 3 p.m. is when it went into the bucket. So the absolute wrong way to do it. But if you're going to test it, let's just go to the extreme and play with it and see what happens. So let me see if I can do this without losing everybody. Yeah. Let me get some gloves on here. I don't particularly like this. We'll see how this comes out of here. Like I said, this has been been in here for quite a while. We'll take a closer look at it, but first look is that hardware doesn't look too bad, but it may just be what was left over. All right. Ugh. Well, it's kind of gnarly. Let's see if we can get all the rest of the pieces out of here without filling up my gloves. Eek. Ugh. All right. That's kind of ugly. Yee. Yeah, I guess we took the choke housing off there. Yeah, we did. Boy, it took all that coating off of there for sure. All right. I'm going to get this bucket out of the way. Tripping all over myself. Get that shut off. All right. Let's see what this thing looks like. All right. Got some room to work here, I guess. Yeah. Well, not quite sure where to start with this. I think what I'm going to do is got a bottle of just going to hit it a little bit so it's a little some of the let's see if we can make some determinations about what happened to this thing. So if you can see all that white chalky stuff, that most of that happened, I think, within the first week or so. I didn't really look at this past that. Let me find a appropriate shop teacher approved scraping tool. Screwdriver. Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Flutie, my high school shop teacher. But anyway, this chalky stuff was really, that is what happened to that coating. That's what happened to this nice shiny coating. All that coating that's on the outside of these within, I'm going to guess the first week, is all of that turned really, really chalky white. I don't know if you guys remember that, but that tube, which is aluminum, very, very thin, it completely, in the week's period of time, completely rotted away. There was nothing of that tube left other than just a little bit shoved in there. So it was really gnarly. But you can also kind of tell it turned this thing pretty dark black. And to look at what it used to be, that nice shiny coating, it just completely, it's got a really rough surface to it. So I bet you if I left that in there for 3 more months or whatever, I'm going to guess it's going to start really eating away at the aluminum. But yeah, that is ugly. All right, let's see if you guys have any Yeah, you can kind of see on the bowl here. The gaskets, oh man, well, that's weird. The gaskets have started to, I don't know if you can kind of tell that. They've just kind of started to break up. And they're kind of like a rough paste almost. So that's ugly. Crazy, crazy. Yeah, it is pretty brutal. Vapo rust remover. I have not. Just soak overnight. Yeah. No, I haven't. But I will certainly, when I look back through this, I'll take some notes on stuff that you guys talk about. Because I've got some small engine stuff I'm going to be working on here pretty soon for another project. But yeah, look how, like I said, that's all just that chalky residue. And it's not, I mean, it's coming off there pretty good. Kind of see it on there, I guess, against that black. Gnarly. Yeah, everything is just shot in here. Ugh. Let's see if that accelerator pump comes off of there without too much trouble. I'm curious. Huh? Some of these things I left together, I just wanted to see what was going to happen with them, but it's hard to tell on here. I'll throw some pictures on Instagram too of some of this stuff, maybe in the Facebook group. But the threads don't look bad, so whatever penetrated in there didn't penetrate very far. Gotta be careful. I just almost rubbed my eye. Don't think that'd be pretty fun. But yeah, hardware's coming out of there. Okay. Curious, like I said, some of this stuff, like I said, just leaving it together. I just wanted to see how far that crap would penetrate in there. And I'm sure my hands are going to love this later. Ooh. Ugh. Well, I guess it got in there. Got in there pretty good. I'm a little surprised that it didn't eat those gaskets up as much as I thought that they would. They're actually, I wouldn't trust it, but I honestly thought those were going to be more deteriorated and would be the first things to fall apart. I just saw that on the main body. We'll look at that in a second, but yeah, it got down in there pretty ugly. Yeah. Yeah, it's not bad. It still has that shiny looking, surface on it, but oh boy, that little nice round disc. It's that one-way little check valve in there is just, you can see all the little pieces broken up. Let's get the other one. I don't think I don't know, forgot where a vacuum secondary's carburetor. Let's see how, it's not, it's like a goop-ish. Still has some consistency on the center, but Ugh. All of this stuff in here is just ugh, man. Well, it's going to be kind of hard to clean out of there. Just gave me a thought. I don't think I will, but I may run this through the ultrasonic cleaner and see if I can bolt it on the engine and fire it up. See if anything is still left of it. I'm going to have to replace a lot of things, obviously, but yeah. Like if you look at the vacuum cap, this thing feels pretty. I'll look at your comments here in just a second, but that vacuum cap's actually in pretty good shape. I would reuse that again. Well, maybe not, but it's not that bad. It's still kind of pliable, and that rubber is in pretty decent shape. It's not cracked or, I mean, I'm scratching it. It's not like chunking off of there. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah, my hands are not going to be happy with this for sure, but all right, let's see what funny stuff you guys have in the comments. Man, that's nasty. The brittle parts now. Yeah, those Mark. Those was kind of looking for to see if some of these were going to be really brittle. Like there's the choke cap. I can already tell right now I want to invest in a better live stream camera so we can get close up stuff. But all right, so that's just the way it came out of there. That was a pretty clean electric choke cap, but it's got a lot of that stuff that's clung onto this. Let's see if I can wipe any of it off. Yeah, not really. I mean, it's starting. What it's doing is it's starting to eat into that plastic. Let's see how brittle it is. Good point. Let's see here. Let's see if we can just grab some little pair of. Yeah, I would say that had literally no pressure on it. Yeah. Yeah, that's after 90 days. It has totally broken that down. Ugh. Yeah, it's got no integrity left. I mean, it's just, that's what's left of our electric choke. Ugh. Man. Yeah, that's gnarly. Man, that thing was, I didn't even need those little pliers. I mean, it's a big piece, but I'm going to put practically no pressure on this thing. It's got like the consistency of maybe like a little bit stronger than like a saltine cracker. That makes sense. If you had like a square, saltine cracker and broke it in half, it's took a little bit more effort than that to break that in half or break those pieces up. Wow. Okay, well, that answered that part. The rubber, like I say, that rubber piece, I was pretty surprised about how flexible that was, but man, boy, it did a, you can break it apart with one hand. Yeah. Let's see what that, let's see if we can separate this from the rubber doesn't seem to be too bad. Yeah, like I can't see if it tears really easy. Not really. So the rubber, even though it's starting to, it's really hard to see. Like I said, I'll throw some close-up pictures on Instagram, but where it came in contact with it really aggressively, it's starting to, have little peaks and valleys, but it's got some integrity left. I don't know how long you'd use it for, especially when you put fuel to it, but rubber seemed to last okay. That hard plastic, yeah. Let me grab another bottle of water here. Brought this just in case so I can dilute some of that off my hands. I don't have too sensitive hands, but I'm trying to take care of what I got left. At least that's what my doctor tells me. But, wow. All right. That is pretty gross. All right, let's keep digging. Let's take a look, see what you guys got. Oh, super aggressive. Yeah, aggressive. Yeah, I know I don't know the chemical composition too well of some of those aggressive cleaning solutions, but certainly your IBNR, the it's a reason why it's so aggressive to cut all that grease and crap, but it certainly didn't do well on a carburetor. Yeah, it would definitely. I totally forgot I had that function. It definitely would would look like an old school abused. I mean, not the shiny one for sure, but it's going to be interesting. I may do that. I've got, like I said, I could steal all the hardware off that one. I've got a ton of Holley rebuild kits here for a 4160. I may do that. I may steal some components off here that got. I'll probably steal the electric choke. I'll use the body. Any of the other little things that I can't quite get right. But I think what I'm going to do is hadn't really thought about this, but the more I'm thinking about it, the cooler it sounds to see if some time in the ultrasonic cleaner is going to clean all this stuff up and allow us to run it again. Like I say, the gaskets aren't. I expected the gaskets to be a lot more easily removable, but these really aren't. They're not. I think that's transfer from another part that was laying on there. But if you look, if we're going to try to scrape the gasket off with this inappropriate tool, it comes off, but it's not like it just dissolves off there. So the gasket material didn't dislike it as much as I thought it was going to. I didn't really expect there to be a lot of it left, to be honest with you. I think a lot of this white that's on here is the transfer from whatever part was up against it that still had that outer zinc coating on it. But the gasket material is pretty. It's not the greatest. You're not going to get anywhere with it, but I expected it to be gone a lot more, and it's really not. It's still has a little bit of consistency of it, even though it's breaking down. It's way better shape than I thought it was going to be. Let's see here. Yeah, let me. Oh, well, we may have solved that right there. As far as putting it on an engine, I don't think. I think those throttle plates are locked up in it. Oops. Yeah, Mr. Fox. I thought that was going to be the same thing. Hopefully your little 283 is coming along pretty good there, bud. Got to be close to dropping that thing in. But yeah, like I said, the rubber is not in bad shape. It's horrible. I don't know that I would use it very long, but if you had to get somewhere in a pinch and needed something, didn't have anything else to do it, that would probably seal up. But let me see if I can find a way to illustrate this. Hang on. Move that camera. Oh, I don't think this is going to work, but let's see. All right. So, throttle plate. I think this is going to kill it right here. We're not going to be able to. Oh. Don't know that I can get a return spring strong enough to operate that. Well, maybe. I mean, it's pretty awful. Don't get me wrong. But that's tight. I can at least get it open now. Maybe the ultrasonic will clean that up a little bit. Oh, wow. So bottom side had no gasket on it. Now that I've whacked the crap out of it. I don't know if you can see that on the... You can kind of see, I'm trying to look at the camera or the screen here at the same time. It's got these kind of like bubble looking things in it. And yeah, just wiped them all away. But again, I'll throw some pictures on Instagram if you guys want to see. But it started to bubble up the... That's what I expected to see. I really expected to see the material kind of break away. And it's starting to. It's starting to eat away at it. But, I mean, it's not horrible, but wow. Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm not going to beat on this thing too much. Let's take that cam out of there real quick. I just want to see if a harder or a plastic that's a little bit more softer than the accelerator or the choke cap, how it... Oops. Again, wrong tools for everything here tonight, but oh yeah, it's starting to eat away at it. Kind of. It's not in bad shape, but that's the cam for the accelerator pump. And it's not in bad shape. Let's see if it's brittle. No, not really. It's pretty good condition, actually. So it's got a durometer or composition or something that's pretty hard on these. They don't wear that often, but I mean, it's not in bad shape. The cam's actually probably the best thing I've seen so far. It's not pretty. It's not that orangish, perfect color that they usually are, but it's not horrible either. So, interesting. Well, the cam survived pretty good. I'm a little surprised by that. Hardware's okay, I guess. I mean, it didn't penetrate past into the threads. Again, it's hard to see that, but it's still shiny. Oh, wow. Okay, well, the cam's in good shape. It's clean. Well, let's see. Yeah. Testifying 283 good. Yeah, interesting. I don't again, I don't know the material on it, but That wouldn't surprise me that they're it's pretty durable. I mean, again, that carburetor was a pretty close to being a brand new. I hate to say this because I'm not dogging, but that is kind of like a 1406 Edelbrock, that 80457 Holley. Every auto parts store in the world used to sell these pretty aggressively off the shelf. So anytime anybody needed a universal 600 CFM electric choke carburetor, it's a square flange base on it. Pretty easy to hook up. All the provisions are there for any adapter for the early GM Mopar Ford, whatever, kick down. Everything's there for it. So the auto parts stores sell a ton of these, or used to anyway. Edelbrock's displaced them. I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure that Edelbrock probably bought their way. Anytime you see those of y'all that are in the States, sorry, Mark, they're from Piston Twisted. Anytime you go into an auto parts store in the States and you see, well, you know what? This even is for Princess Auto up there in Canada, anything. But anytime you see product on the shelf, on the display in the store, that manufacturer bought that retail space. So when you go into O'Reilly is a good example, like that little corner. They used to call it Performance Corner. That came from the wholesale supplier that supplied all that stuff to them before they started buying a lot of direct from manufacturers. But that corner in like an O'Reilly Auto Parts store, everything you see in there, if it's got an MSD distributor and a Holley carburetor and a Edelbrock fuel pump or whatever it is, that manufacturer bought the right to that space to be on the shelf. They pay for that. It's pretty common practice for those chain stores to do that. And then if somebody want to come in and want to replace that, Edelbrock 1406 or that 80457, they would have to buy the space and they would have to buy all the inventory that's left in the system. It's how those retailers make a decent amount of money and keep their shelves stocked with stuff that turns. And but anyway, a little more inside baseball. But I used to work with O'Reilly's fairly aggressive in the early 2000s, 2001 to 5, somewhere in there when I worked for a wholesale distributor. But yeah, so I don't know where I was going with that, but anyway, I know where I was going with this. Sorry. I have a bunch of these. They're hard to sell. I've rebuilt them. I've had a couple that were on the website for well over a year. I had to just lower the price on just to get rid of them. So I don't rebuild these anymore. I don't really do 1406s that much more anyway either. I'll do the 9906 or 1906, the AVS 2, but the 1406 and this 80457, I don't even rebuild them anymore. They just, if I get them in a trade, they just go to scrap. So, but this loosened up a little bit more. The problem is, I wonder how that. Phew. Yeah, it's hard to see, but I don't think we'll be able to get in there. But those transfer, you can kind of see that pinhole over there. Barely see it. That's for idle. And then there's the transfer slots are so corroded over you can't even see them. But that'll be the determination of whether or not I can reuse this. But doggone it, now you got me thinking on that one there, Mark. But I'm gonna try it. I can't even open the secondaries. Ugh. So I'm not gonna beat on it too much. I don't want to break it. I want to see how fragile it is, but all right. So right, let's keep moving on here and see what else we can see. Yeah. Yeah, I expected these gaskets to be more brittle and completely whatever, and they're not bad. So, like, here's the rubber gasket for the transfer tube. Ugh. And actually, it's in pretty rough shape. A little umbrella. You can see how much it didn't fare as well as the black plastic. Look at that. It's not really deteriorating, but man, I'm just kind of rolling it in between, and look at all that. Yeah, those would leak for sure. So super clean on those little rubber are pretty down. I mean, you can start to see it on my hands too. So that's pretty gnarly. All right, let's see what the comments look like here. Be a little slow tonight, I would imagine, but Woodsman. One of our super clean 4 parts water for a day. Yeah, that's really if you look at the first video, and I have links to it in the description, which once this goes live here in a little while, you can take a look at it if you want. But that's what it did to the carburetors. It took all the shiny off of it and turned it like chalky gray, but now it's like hardcore gray. I mean, it's hard to tell. I think if I cut the lights a little bit, let's see if I get that light on. I guess I have it off. But it's almost like a dark gray. So, but yeah, that's exactly what happens to it after a while. It's really even something really diluted like that. I'm not surprised by that. But remember we just looked at this one a minute ago? It's still there. It's still kind of pliable. This one is no longer there. It is completely gone. And I know I left them in here. Those are just pieces, I think. Maybe I didn't. Well, maybe I didn't. I think maybe it's just the deterioration. I thought it looked like, I don't have my glasses on, but it looked like that was, I think it's just deteriorating away. Which will make it interesting to see if those umbrella seals will seal up that when it comes time to put some fuel through it. Knock that. But yeah, I know what you're saying there, Mr. Woodsman, or Mrs. Woodsman, I guess. Yeah, I hate that does that. Takes all the shiny off for sure. Ugh. Man. Let's see if we can. Yeah, I thought that was going to be a problem. Let's see if we can twist that out of there. I mean, I'd hate to set the GMC on fire just to test this, but now my morbid curiosity has gotten the better of me. Now I'm dying to put it on there. Ugh. Ooh. Man. Well, it's played havoc on those those threads, that's for sure. Wow. Sorry, I'm trying to keep this in. Hopefully that's not pulling those threads out of there. It's turning, but it's rough. Let's see if I can get that out of there so you guys can see that. Sorry about that. Ugh. Okay, well, it didn't pull the threads out. So I'm happy about that. But it did a number on that brass, that's for sure. I guess that's brass. Can't remember what that material's made out of, but that rubber O-rings. It's the needle and seat. The needle moves a little bit freely. It's obviously trash. That Viton tip is gone. So yeah, again, like I say, I'll try to throw some images on Instagram so you guys can see some of the stuff close up. But at least it didn't pull the threads out of there. Let's see if that was what I was after, to see if that doesn't feel too brittle. Let's well, yeah, I'm gonna destroy it. But just want to see how. It's not bad. I mean, it's ugly, but it's not. It's usable, and I couldn't break it. It's got all the. I'm gonna break it anyway. Oops. Sorry for bouncing you around. It's not bad. You know, that hard plastic. I thought that might be a little bit more brittle, but it's not bad. We will use them out of the donor carburetor. All right. For the comments here. Yeah. I honestly, and it wasn't to pick on Super Clean, but a number of folks had said that Super Clean was their go-to for cleaning aluminum and carburetors or whatever. And I thought back then, I was like, man, that just doesn't sound like a good idea to me. So just like anything else, if you're going to test it, might as well test it extremely, and we did that. And but yeah, it wasn't a knock on Super Clean or any particular brand. It's all pretty much the same as far as I'm concerned. Anything that you have to dilute that far down. So kind of see how that chalky. It's gonna. I wonder how long it's gonna last in the ultrasonic to get that cleaned up. Get that little snapping out of there. Oop. Man. Start turning that flow to nice color. It's interesting that the level that was where the fuel line was on here, that the ethanol, water, whatever, I don't think this carburetor had a lot of miles on it, but it had some use to it. But it's kind of interesting to see that started the process, and then the Super Clean just turned it black. Hear that? Yeah, it's hard to tell. Trying to get it by the microphone. Yeah, but it's got fluid in it, so it's not usable anymore. That's for sure. So, wow. Okay, we're going to be see if we can. See all that. That's how thick that is. That's a good 1/8 of an inch. Ugh. Gotta see it up against the black there. Yeah, that's what the whole outside of this carburetor really looked like. It was that fuzzy, chalky, crappy type consistency to it, but it wow. I thought I was done with this carburetor. I thought I was going to huck it in the dumpster tonight, but looks like we're going to rebuild it. Well, we'll see anyway. We'll throw it in the ultrasonic tomorrow, maybe. So, yeah. Let's get that off there. Ooh, man. Trying to get that plug out of there. Oh, it came loose. Yeah, it's not bad. Ugh. It's not going to be easy to. Probably not going to say. You can kind of see down in there. So yeah, this thing wouldn't run very long if we were to throw some gaskets in it and throw some fuel in it. And so, well, okay. I mean, structurally, this is in okay shape. Let's see if we can separate it. No, just trying to see if maybe it would break apart, but it's pretty durable. We're still pretty durable. Oh, well, sight plug might be in there for a while. We'll see if the ultrasonic cleans it up. So, all right, I need to drink, and we'll see what's going on in the comments. Yeah, I should have thrown gloves on for this, but well, I'll have clean hands, that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. They are. It's pretty. Take a sip here. It does say pretty clearly on there, if I remember right, that it will discolor aluminum. So again, I'm not picking on super clean. It's just what you guys suggested and what I went ahead and did. So. Yeah, that's exactly right. I think you'd be surprised by that. If you're talking about these, they are definitely not made here in the U.S. They are definitely made somewhere else. They may be assembled here, but I can tell you that the majority of that carburetor is coming from offshore now. So anyway, all right. Oh, we've been in here for 49 minutes. All right, I'm going to keep moving because I'm not going to be here all night taking up all your time. Let's take a look at the last thing, and that's the main body. And ugh. This is my problem working on things. I don't keep tools and all that stuff straight very well. I'm not very good at that. Oh boy, we're gonna have to get that plate off of there. Don't know if I've got that. What did I do with it? Don't have that bit. I forget what it's called, but I don't have it readily available. Oh, no. I think that one's it. Oh, yeah, it is. Again, my old eyesight here. Let's see if we can. Oh, it's interesting. It's kind of bubbling up there. All right, I'm not going to mess with that. I don't want to mess the hardware up. We'll try to get those off after it comes out of the ultrasound cleaner. That choke plate doesn't look bad. It's got a little bit of rust on there. Other than that, doesn't look that bad. So the choke still operates. Choke flap anyway. Cool. See if I can tip you guys down a little bit here. Sorry for the hard to tell, but those air bleeds are pretty plugged. So hopefully the ultrasonic will do most of that cleanup, but this one, I don't do it very frequently, but I'm for sure going to have to run a brush through there. Yeah. Yeah. See all that? How it's just flaking off. You can hear that? Some ASMR for you. God. I'm going to assume, I'm not going to clean this up too much because I don't want to let I'll probably hit this with some water tonight. Wow. But just to stop the chemicals from continue to eat away at it. But look at the cherry there. Good grief. Well, we may have opened up the CFM a little bit on this thing. Some of the stuff is going to be hell to get out of here. Oh, well. Just have to see. It's interesting. These are plugged. Yeah. All right, here's something interesting. I didn't separate the metering block from there. Don't do this at home, kids. Oh, okay. Ugh. All right. Well, still have some gasket material left there, but it's kind of like, I mean, it's still the paper impregnation or the middle of that gasket that's blue coated is still pretty much there, but that blue coating is, ugh. We'll have to see if we can get the power valve out later. There's a chunk of that. Man. Yeah, I expected the paper gaskets to go away a little bit quicker, but they're not in bad shape, really. Well, they're in horrible shape, but all right, here we go. See, like that still has some, I mean, not much, but it still has some integrity to it. It's puffy. It's absorbed a lot of material. I wouldn't use it, but it still can be considered a gasket, sort of. Not a good one by any stretch. But, yeah. So, well, I think that's the plan. I'm gonna throw this in the ultrasonic, and now that I'm happy enough that the body is at least structurally there, I expected some of this stuff to be, being eaten away. Like this, the choke tower. Let's see if we can. This isn't going to be that big of a deal if I break it. Let's just see if it separates. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That wasn't a lot of pressure. So I'm not upset if I ruin that, but okay. Yeah, we'll tap that back. Okay. That's what I expected it to be, is more that, where it would easily come apart. So the integrity of that is certainly compromised, but not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. All right, let's get this back to. Sorry for bouncing you all over the place. Oh. All right, let me look at the comments again, and now that we got a plan for this thing. Yeah, I kind of did, but some of it caught me off guard. The choke housing is what I expected it to be. The rubber cap, I didn't expect that to be as in good a shape. Baffle there for the fuel and the needle and seat. But yeah, some of the stuff didn't really, the gasket. I expected those to be gone, but we had already seen this level of chalkiness and just awful, awful destruction in it the first time. It just didn't really continue to. I think that's just what it was. It just reacted to that coating that's on there, and now we know that, or at least we have something to reference back to, that that coating comes off pretty easily. It's not, it does on the Edelbrock carburetors as well too. It's not like I'm again picking on Holley here, but but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if we can ultrasonic clean this thing up. But let's see. I couldn't agree with you more. It's kind of what I've tried to do on the channel. It's not talking theory so much and just show it. So I appreciate that, my friend. Midwest Fuel Injection. Why does that name sound familiar? They're not in like St. Joe, Missouri? I mean, I'm thinking Midwest Diesel. Used to know some folks up there. So, yeah, I agree. The good old solvent would have gotten in there and tore that apart. So, da, 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 da. Yep. I'm gonna wish all y'all that. most everybody's bailed out of the live. Anyway, it looks like, but Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you guys had a great Christmas, and you and your family are blessed going into the new year here. And I hope whatever your aspirations and your dreams and hopes are for the new year, that you work hard, you achieve those goals, whatever those are, your family's safe and happy and content. And no matter what craziness the world does to us, coming into this new year, I know it's going to be a little rough until some things calm down here in the U.S. But I truly, truly hope that all of y'all are very safe, content, and happy into the new year. So I guess with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this thing. But that's the plan with it, is we're going to throw this in the ultrasonic cleaner. Again, like I say, I'll throw some pictures on Instagram of some stuff a little bit closer up if you guys want to see this. But I'll throw those up here in the next half hour or so, hour. But yeah, I truly hope y'all have a great new year, and 2024 is an amazing year for you all. Thank you all for what you've done for me and the channel, and the interaction, the views, and being here, the comments you leave on the videos. It's fun for me, but I've got some good plans for next year. I just have to get the time to do it. Unfortunately, the first part of the year is going to be a little ugly for me, but doesn't matter. I'm going to come out swinging when I'm ready. So, but yeah, I guess that's it. Let me peek at the comments one last time. Okay. Well, maybe that's St. Jude. I spent a little bit of time in the Kansas City. I lived in the Kansas City area for quite a few years, so I didn't know if that was the same, but either way. Mark, I can't wait to see what you do over there in Europe. And for y'all that aren't following Piston Twisting Garage, go follow him. I know he's got some more vintage bike content coming, which for me, I'm a motorcycle, dirt bike type of guy, but some of those older stuff from the 50s and 60s, and maybe hopefully you find some World War II era stuff that's not $1 billion over there, but or €1 billion, I guess. But I hope that that content that you're able to put out, Mark's channel is extremely high quality. Makes the stuff I do here look like a rookie is doing it. The content of his quality, or the quality of his content, is pretty amazing. So anyway, again, I hope you guys have a great new year. Here's to y'all. And I guess check the comments one last time, but I think we're done. YouTube can't fire me for that one, I guess. So, alrighty, guys. I appreciate y'all hanging out for an hour. Again, it was just kind of a last minute deal, but wanted to close this chapter out. And now, instead of throwing it out, I'm going to put it in the ultrasonic cleaner tomorrow. See what happens with it. So, anyway, we will catch you guys in 2024. Y'all have a good one. Thank y'all. Appreciate you.